Hello guys, welcome to another weekly breakdown video. Today I will be back testing the third and final week of March, starting from 21st of March, 25th of March. Okay, so if I show you the news, Monday there is no news, Tuesday there is no news. This is a very low news week, and whenever there is low news, there is very high probability that at least one of those days you will catch a trade. 100%. Whenever there is low news, like high impact news will be there every week, right? But it is not like there is GBP CPI, USD CPI on the same week. Weeks like that will appear too, but in this week particularly, it's not that high impact news driven week, so we'll look for trades in this week. So without wasting any time, let's start with our weekly breakdown, weekly bias. So weekly bias going on the next week is so fucking clear. If it is not clear, then I don't know what is clear. Going to the next week, I will look for continuation of this bearish week and target this draw of liquidity. And if my bias is bearish, also we know that first the market can go up, rebalance the price, make the high of the week, and then go down. This will be the most ideal case scenario. Let's see what happens. And on DXY, the sort of opposite, contrary, we'll look for the contrary. The market opens here, we'll look for low of the week, rebalance the price, and then go up. That is what I will be looking for on DXY, and my bias on DXY is so clear, so it will be so fun to trade because the bias is clear. DXY will be bullish and GU bias will be bearish. And one thing, guys, keep this in mind. Whenever the bias is clear in the markets, that is when your confidence and each and everything will be so on the top. Going on the next week, I know exactly what I'm looking for, right? So just by knowing that small information, it makes the trading so simple and fun. And yeah, so these are the weeks where you should trade. And going on the daily, now weekly bias is clearly bearish. This is my draw of liquidity. Draw of liquidity is a point in the market where the market is drawn towards. And also the market is now at its demand zone. Let's see if this demand zone gets respected or if this demand zone doesn't get respected. So for this zone here to be a supply zone, I need the change of character to happen here, which you can argue did happen, yeah, but it's not clear. We need it to happen with huge momentum, so that's one thing. And also there's the daily fair value gap. And going on Monday, I'm looking for sales because my bias on Monday is clear, which is bearish. And on DXY, the opposite, my bias is clear, which is bullish. So it was making a lot of sense on Monday to buy, and also there was no news on Monday, as you can see. That is when I go to the lower time frames like the 4 hourly to look for some sort of market structure. So market structure on the 4 hourly was clearly bearish. The change of character happened here. The break of structure, this was the supply zone, H4 fair value gap. And yeah, look, also one thing I've learned from this week was the market can either have its move from the H1 supply, H4 supply, doesn't matter. It can have its move from any zone. So you as a trader, as a profitable trader, you have to be so adaptable to the markets that whatever the market does, you adapt, right? Only the species that can adapt will survive, as some great guy said. And yeah, on the hourly also the market has changed character here, lower highs, lower lows, break of structure. So I was looking for trades from this sort of supply zone on the hourly. So this is when I wait for the Asian range to close. The Asian range closed something like this, and I was looking for sells, which would be something like this, right? So on Monday, I took the trade. Let me see. Okay, so there was previous structural liquidity, and my supply zone got hit here. This is when, after seeing this hourly rejection candle, this is when I start to look for trade. It was a New York trade. It was very late in the day, and it was a very, very low probability trade on Monday because the whole London session went up, and New York, yeah, the New York can go down, but also it was very late in the day, so it was a very iffy trade, as you can see. M30 gave the rejection. I entered the trade on the M15 at this candle, and yeah, we got stopped out directly. So this was a losing trade. Monday was a losing trade, as you can see right here. Losing is a part of the game, and just because we lose on Monday doesn't mean that we will not trade the rest of the week, right? And also I have said that the weekly profiling thing, Monday or Tuesday can go, even Wednesday, we don't know, can go make the high of the week and then go down. So we want to be a part of the low. When the market will start to go down, we want to be a part of that move, right? So even on the call out, whenever the price action is clean, that is when you should trade, and when it is not clean or consolidating, you don't trade, like on Thursday. So this call out was written due to the price action on Thursday. So I'll show you that on that time. The weekly candle profiling did got followed here. Monday, Tuesday went up, and then Wednesday continued to the downside. So the profiling thing that I was explaining to you guys right now did got respected. And going on Tuesday, now my bias is not bearish anymore. The weekly bias is surely bearish, right? But according to how this Monday candle closed, we adapt. I said we adapt to the markets. So going on Tuesday, I am either looking for buys or I'm not trading. There are only two options. And on DXY, there is a fair value gap formed due to how this Monday candle closed. It also made sense on Tuesday to go and fill up this fair value gap before continuing to the upside. So yeah, going on Tuesday, I was looking for buys, and also on Tuesday there was no such high impact news. It was CB consumer confidence on 7:30 p.m. And if I want to look for buys, I have to look for price action, like on the 4 hourly change of characters, which also didn't happen, I believe. Yeah, it didn't happen. Even on the 4 hourly, the change of character didn't happen. On the hourly, you can argue that the change of character did happen, and this was the demand zone which caused the change of character. So I was looking for buys from this sort of demand zone, waited for the Asian range to close as always, because without the Asian range close, we can't do nothing. And yeah, so the Asian range did got close, and I did took the trade. You know why I took a sell? You guys might be confused, bro. The bias was bullish. Why did you took a sell position on Tuesday? Wait, let me explain. I took a sell position here because I told you why. I have written this call out, right? Whenever the price action is clean, and then sorry, not this one. The market can have it move from any order block, as I have said. This was a H4 order block. It was a H4 supply zone, H4 rejection, beautiful H4 rejection. That is when I took this trade on basis of the H4 order block, but this would have been a swing trade rather than an intraday trade. So that is not our strategy. So that is one thing. And after seeing a hourly rejection candlestick like this, that is when I go to the lower time frames like the M15 and enter the trade like I did in this trade. It was a 1:3, beautiful. If I holded this trade, it would have been a 1:5, which is a very, very beautiful trade. So a win is a win at the end of the day. So I will take it any day. And it also made sense with the DXY filling up the fair value gap. If I show you, DXY did fill up the fair value gap on the daily perfectly, which was aligning. And whenever the DXY and GU are aligning, that is when you want to trade. So now going on Wednesday, my bias is so clear. You have to have the patience in the market to wait. What I told, Monday, Tuesday can go up, make the high of the week, and then come down, right? So exactly something like that is happening. We don't know yet if that will happen or not, but looking at that, it looks like it's happening. Tuesday literally gave us a bearish pin bar rejection, showing that now the sellers are in the market on GU, and the contrary happened on DXY. The market went down, filled up the daily fair value gap, and now we can take a trade or anticipate the market to go up, make a bullish candle. So that is when the weekly and the daily was aligning, and the market was still bearish because of how this 4 hourly candle was closed. And also on Tuesday, huge sellers kick in the market, so everything was making so much of sense. You only want to trade in the markets when everything is making sense, like it was, right? So on hourly, I waited for the Asian range to close as always, and this supply zone was marked on the M30. I was looking for a trade from this sort of supply zone, which was a valid supply zone because it caused this change of character to the downside. After the 1 hour Asian range close, I waited for the market to go up, and this was the previous structural liquidity. The early sellers were caught here. Early sellers, whoever sold here, maybe I would have sold here, but I wouldn't because my supply zone mark is here. And why will you take a trade early? I have made these mistakes a lot of times, and look, even here many people would have entered. This is the live markets, and trading early in the market is not a good sign. So this position did got induced, and then what we want to see in a trade like M15 rejection, everything I want to see in a trade was here. was present here. Point of interest, inducement, M15 rejection, higher time frame. This was an A-class setup. This setup, whenever it appears, I will take it 10 out of 10 times. Doesn't matter. So Wednesday was a winning day. Beautiful trade caught at 1:3. That's what matters to us. 1:3 for now at least. And yeah, Wednesday was a winning day. So now going on Thursday without wasting any time. Going on Thursday, now on Thursday, the bias is bullish. The bias on Thursday is bullish, which is not aligning with the daily bias, weekly bias being bearish. And yeah, now on Thursday and Friday, as we have caught a beautiful trade on Wednesday, we don't need to trade Thursday and Friday. That's the beauty of this strategy. Once you catch your trade, done. Get out of the markets. And on Thursday and Friday also, there are some news. There is no news in our session, which is London. So that is not high of a problem. There is only news on New York. And we don't trade New York often. So yeah, I was looking for buys going on Thursday. So if I'm looking for buys, I will look for some change of characters. Again, the same thing, the same drill, following the same drill, the mundane. And there was no sort of demand zone. Sorry, there was no sort. And that's why I've written this. Whenever the price action is not clean, then you should trade. Whenever it's not clean, you don't trade. Thursday, the price action was not clean. I've written that because there was no demand zone. On Thursday, there was no demand zones. Like there may be, but it was not clean. There was no demand zone, a strong demand zone. So I decided not to trade on Thursday. And also there is the reason I have not marked any sort of zones on Thursday. So Thursday, I just didn't trade it. And on Friday also I didn't trade it. Why? You may argue. Let me tell you why I didn't trade it on Thursday. So going on Thursday, clearly we can see the bias is again bullish, which is not aligning with the weekly bias. First of all, DXY is a doji, and also on DXY, Friday is a bank holiday. As you can see, the market is directly starting on Monday. After Thursday, it's directly starting on Monday. So DXY is closed. We always align our GU with DXY, right? So if DXY is closed, we don't trade. That's the reason I didn't took the trade. And if I was looking for something, it would be sells because Euro USD closed very bearish right here. And at this point in backtesting, I am clearly seeing that more than GU, EU is cleaner than GU, because whenever the GU is consolidating, EU is giving a move, as you can see. And yeah, it was clean, very, very clean. So Friday, I just decided not to trade. So I will just show you like this. And yeah, if I was looking for something, it would be sells. I told you, right? So let me show you if I have marked any zones. I didn't even mark any zones. I believe, yep. I didn't even mark any zones because DXY were closed, and whenever the DXY is closed, I don't trade. And let me show you the overall week, how it closed. The week closed as a bearish candle because you can argue the market went up, the sellers came in. And yeah, going on the next week, it will be a little bit tricky. It will not be as clean as the last week bias, but yeah, the bias is not always clear even though we trade. So at the end of the day, we have to adapt to the markets. Okay, and yep, that was the weekly breakdown. Hope you guys got to learn something, and if you have any doubt, feel free to ask me. Bosh.